Hey, what's up, fam? It's been a while since I have said anything that positive about what goes on within the confines of One Piece. If you've been paying attention since when I began talking about One Piece at the start, I was like, I don't know if I really want to, because I don't want to just be talking negatively about it. And then they were doing all the stuff with Reverie, and I was just like, this is pretty cool. I like where this is going. And then I got into Wano, and I was a little bit bummed out, and then it just kept getting worse and worse. Well, luckily the last chapter turned it around, and it's combined with this chapter actually has my hopes a little bit up for this arc, and I'll give you a reason why. Once we get into essentially, the events of this chapter, obviously what happened in the last one, it was pretty much just Luffy fighting Kaido, well, attacking him, and then Kaido got up and one shot him. But I'm gonna go really quick through pretty much what happened in this chapter because I want to talk about more of what my hopes are and why I actually have hopes for this arc. Not like heavy hopes, but I can see things turning out better than they usually do for One Piece. But Kaido Kaido says like, okay, yeah, put Luffy in a dungeon, and he could be useful to to my forces. Obviously, that makes sense. I don't remember if I mentioned that in the last video, if I said it during a stream, but that was a theory. I thought definitely the law teleporting out thing would happen, but that was canceled out from Hawkins hitting him with a sea stone nail, because apparently this is where Wano is, where it's all forged out of. I feel like with those sea stone nails, you can beat relatively most people within One Piece. Why don't they just use those? Why don't they sneak up and sea stone nail like somebody from one of the admirals or one of the other the Yonko? Anyway, but yeah, he ends up saying, "Yeah, take Luffy, send him out." And then Luffy, unconsciously uses his Conqueror's Haki, knocks a bunch of the fodder guys out, and it's both noted from what's the guy's name, Shuten Maru, that he has the same ability that Lord Odin had. So Lord Odin obviously had a Conqueror's Haki, as well as Kaido says that Kid has it. And I saw some people talking about how there shouldn't be there's so many people that have Conqueror's Haki. I mean, obviously in the grand scheme of the world, I think it's like 12, 13 people now. The grand scheme of the world, there's not a lot, but out of the known characters, when you have your characters, there's like, I don't know, what's that, like 5% I think of One Piece characters? Probably not, because I think there's like 200 and something known. Either way, it's that part doesn't really bother me. I think just showing them all at once, like so many at once, I'm just like, eh. Maybe have more spread out, or maybe I think Oda should have just gave a number, and like maybe it said like, hey, there's only supposed to be X amount of media in the world. Maybe that would work better. I don't know. Not really important to the conversation all, but kind of then goes out to like people reading the papers of what happened with Luffy, and they're all making these really annoying faces. I don't like some of Oda's overly responsive faces. I think they're kind of annoying. I've seen some series that have like extremely drastic response faces. If you read Nejimaki Kagyu, that has some really crazy response faces. Also Toriko. I don't know. It's some of the ones that just they kind of feel out of place to me. Some of the time, not all the time, obviously with Oda's art style. This one, like the pulled back face look that Frankie, Robin, and Usopp had, I didn't like it in this case. There are cases that it works fine. And then everyone is actually saved because the fat ninja chick can like rot stuff, like decay things a little bit. She made it like a little sinkhole, and after that point, you get back to this jail cell where they're keeping somebody or something in there, and they're feeding it poisonous fish that doesn't have any bones in it. And I guess you see why at one point, because it spits the fish bone back and it like skewers this dude's neck, and Luffy just glaring at people as he goes by, and then he and Kid are side by side in cells, and then the curtain falls, and you see Wano Country first act, and that's kind of what I really wanted to get to. 'Cause I don't want to go too deeply into the chapter itself because that's not where I really wanted to talk about it. Like I gave my whole thing about it. You throw him in a cell, people know about it, and fucking Luffy's friends aren't dead, and all that stuff. What I wanted to go over is, well, I think this could be better for One Piece to have an arc like this, because instead of so essentially people have been talking about how, because Oda's a huge fan of like Japanese plays and like kabuki stuff that it'll be 5 parts because like as a traditional Japanese play is 5 acts, and this was Act 1. I think it'll work better than something like Whole Cake Island or Dressrosa that I personally think they dragged out way too long, and it hurt the whole pacing and made it, just it made it so boring, and I didn't like the arcs in general. I thought they were pretty bad, but I think a lot of that had to do with pacing and just like the overly strung out sides. And with this, I think it seems like more like it's going to be, if it is five mini arcs that kind of put in together into one large arc and one maybe large saga, which I think it'll be better for the tone if you get these chunks, and then once you read them all together and then really call it a story arc. I think it'll fit to a much better spot and a much better flow of the of the manga and this whole thing with Wano. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I think some of the last arcs have just been a little bit too long for the content that's been within them. It's not like some giant, like the whole big run from Amazon Lily to Impel Down and Marineford all kind of seemed like its own really big arc with just Luffy, and it's kind of like that where it felt was more like lots of small contained stuff just being pieced together into one larger one, and I think it was better that way. So maybe this will work a lot better. Anyway, so I give this solid thumbs up. This chapter is good. Also, I've decided that I enjoy Kaido's design, and as long as he's not making goofy faces like he's done, he seems pretty cool. And I like that he has a Kanabo, like this big Kanabo-y club. And I always thought Kanabos and like ogre clubs were really cool. So I'll put him on my thumbs up list for now. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart like Doflamingo did, but we'll see how things go. But otherwise, tell me what you think about this chapter in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you like that he's doing it in these acts instead of like a really long story arc? Because then we might not have to have characters running around for 20 chapters like like they usually do. But if you like this content, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out my stuff. I do mostly manga and anime. But otherwise, thank you very much for listening. Bye.